Hi, my name is Abby Holmes, and in this video we're going to be talking about learning the neck and transposing on the bass. So here at Redeemer we use the number system, which I know there's been some other videos about how that works, but that system is awesome for bass. It's really, really easy to transpose between different keys very quickly using the number system, just because of the way the fretboard is laid out and the way the number system kind of works. So essentially, all you have to be able to do is remember the pattern and be familiar enough with the notes on the fretboard that you can move it around to different places depending on the key that you're playing in. And so briefly, I can just sort of recap the pattern of the number system in a way that makes sense on bass. For me, it helps me to think about it in terms of half steps and whole steps, just because of the way that sort of plays out on the fretboard. And so, right, we have our numbers 1 through 7 in every key, and so the key that we're playing in will tell us what chords or notes those numbers correspond to. And the relationship between all of those chords or notes is there's a whole step between all of the numbers except for between the 3 and the 4 is a half step, and then when you hit the 7 before you come back to the 1, that's a half step. I mean, that'll make sense looking at the fretboard, sort of the notes, it makes sense why that's the case. But to think about it that way, it translates really, really easily to just a simple pattern on the fretboard. And so, for example, if we're playing a song in the key of G, right, then G, the G note is going to be the 1 of our key. And so we can pick a G anywhere. I'll pick the 3rd fret on the E string. Okay, so that's our 1. And if we want to just follow the whole pattern on the E string, right, we have a whole step between the 1 and the 2. So we go up to A, G's our 1, A's our 2. We can go up to the 3, that's a whole step. So 1, 2, 3. And then between the 3 and the 4 is a half step. 3, 4. Whole step up to the 5. Whole step to the 6. Whole step to the 7. And then a half step, and we're up to the 1 again, the higher octave of the G. And so that's kind of the basic pattern, but you see that's spread out like super far on the neck. Of course, every note on the fretboard you can play all over the fretboard, right? So we said if we counted up 1, 2, 3, 4, this is a C right here, and there's a C right beneath the G. And so we can play, instead of having to come all the way up to this 4, we can remember that there's a 4 right beneath our 1, and that's always going to be the case no matter what key we're playing in. And so let me just do a little bit of example to show it's really, really easy to transpose between different keys because it's such a simple pattern. So let's say that we're playing a song, let's say we're playing it in the key of G, and the chorus chords are 4, 1, 6, 5. Okay, so that's a pretty common progression for a chorus. And so the worship leader says, like, we're going to be playing this song in G. So if I can, this is the 4 right here, beneath the 1. So it's the same key we were just playing in. Our 1 is G. 4, 1, 6, 5. Okay? 4, 1, 6, 5. It's the chorus for that song. But what if now the worship leader decides, never mind, I don't want to play in G, we're going to play in D. All we have to do is find a D on the fretboard. We can find the 5th fret on the A string is a good D to pick, and that's our 1. And we can play the exact same thing. It's the exact same pattern, but now we've shifted it over with starting on this new 1. And so the chorus is still 4, 1, 6, 5. 4, 1, 6, 5. And the pattern is exactly the same, and it's very, very easy to just transpose to the different key. Another thing, of course, we have octaves on the bass, and so if this is a 5 right here, then this is also a 5, and that's right above our 1, which is the D. And so it's always handy for me to remember that if I know where the 1 is, there's always a 4 right beneath the 1, there's always a 5 right above the 1, so I could play that exact same progression, 4, 1, 6, 5. Depending on how I wanted the song to sound, I could play it lower or higher octave. And then just real quick, one more example. If if the worship leader decides to pick a really difficult key, like let's say they pick E flat, which would be pretty difficult on keys, that'll be pretty difficult on acoustic guitar to just switch to E flat. But on the bass, there's no reason on earth that E flat is any harder than D or G or anything else we already played, because we just find an E flat, and then the progression, 4, 1, 6, 5. Same pattern, just moved up a little bit higher.